we're starting a podcast, and he was like, what's that? And then I was like, it's where we talk about beer and books. And he's like, anyway, so in real life.
Yeah, I did that with a couple people, and I mean, you just can't force it.
Yeah,
if they don't want to hear, they don't want to hear.
You know how like active we are on social media. If they don't know it by now, then fine. But if they know it and they choose not to listen to it, I mean, that's okay too.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't have to. I don't have to twist your. I'm not getting paid for this. Do what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting paid $0. I'm actually paying money for this.
Yeah, I am paying money to do this for you guys. And
oh, man.
That shows dedication.
It does.
If not this re-recording for the third time.
Oh, my gosh.
Should we talk about the first time or no?
Yeah, briefly.
Should we go into the book?
Well, I mean, yeah, let's at least tell them why there was 3 recordings.
Well, the first time was at Audrey's new place. Not new place, but...
New recording room?
Yeah, Audrey's got a tri-level, and in the basement, we tried to, try to make it soundproof, and it was really pretty. You bought, a new shag rug, right?
It looked really, really good.
It looks great.
And it sounds good. However...
Then people come home.
People go home.
She lives with 18 people.
No, I live with 2 other people. But the big thing is all those dogs that we've talked about in previous podcasts.
They love each other.
They love playing. That's their favorite thing to do. And you can hear everything. One of my dogs put his nose in
I was just going to say that.
He put his nose in the staircase on his level, and we could see his nostrils. And apparently there is absolutely no insulation in the basement whatsoever.
And you could hear him breathing
yeah. He's like,
what are you guys doing down there? And fucking Squirrel was just getting caught up in all of our cords, trying to take down the laptop. So much.
He's so great.
It was a lot of fun, but
it's a good story to tell on our podcast.
But we couldn't publish that. It was all dog noises.
Yeah.
And then your roommate came home and we were like, what is that fucking noise? We go upstairs oh, it's you. And we're like, cool, we just lost a friend.
One of 2 friends we have, and we just lost one.
We're very rude.
Yeah, we're the worst.
Don't be friends with us. So yeah, that's why this is the 3rd recording. So first one was shit. Second one was deleted.
Sorry.
Third one.
Hopefully this one actually makes it live.
Yeah.
I think cross your fingers.
It fucking better.
Yeah. So, anyways, let's go ahead and talk about this book because it is fucking the best. And I am obsessed, and it's almost, I want to say, my new Bible because...
Really?
Yeah.
Did you read and listen, or just listen, or...
So I listened, and then I,
You apparently bought the book. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I bought the book. Well, because... We've already talked about it, but when I like a book, I buy it and then put it on my shelf.
Yeah, I loved this book. I want to buy it too. I also want to read her other one that says, "You are a badass about money." Is that the title?
You are a badass at making money.
Making money. I want to be a badass, so I should read that.
I do too. Especially in my specific job position, I should probably read that. But yeah, this book is packed with wisdom of...
How about a quick overview?
Yeah, so the whole book is basically about, I guess, fulfilling your greatness and knowing it is a self-help book, but the whole intro is, hey, I know that this is a self-help book. Yeah. I'm sorry I'm writing you a self-help book, and I'm going to try and keep this as chill as possible because I too hate self-help books. Yeah,
she was talking about how she's read so many and she's trying to save us the trouble from reading more.
Yeah, and so she kind of just put everything into this 200-page book, and rather than writing out a bunch of stories and trying to figure and just do unnecessary chapters to prove a point, she kind of just lists, hey, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. Make it happen and you'll be golden. In her beautiful way. And she's hilarious. And listening to the podcast, or listening to the this is a podcast, listening to the audiobook was really awesome because she has, I always recommend listening to the audiobook if it's done by the author.
I agree.
Because you get the tone inflections that are
unless it's fiction
meant to be.
I really like autobiographies and self-help books done by the author.
Right. You're right. Some of the fiction books, they don't even know the inflection.
Yeah, exactly. They just make it all monotone.
And it's just, yeah, you're right.
But Jen Sincero narrates this, and it's so awesome. I wanted to highlight so much in this book. For me, if I was to give a brief overview, I would say like the main gist is to pretty much stop caring about what other people think, and just believe in like your thoughts having some powerful position in your life. Like the things that you're thinking can come true, even if they're negative thoughts. So you need to be able to control those things, to portray a positive life, perhaps.
For sure.
Yeah, if you're having negative thoughts, you're going to have a negative life. Without some higher power, it's hard to aspire to be your best self, perhaps.
Yeah, and it
doesn't have to be God.
Right. She touches a lot. She kind of talks about it as like energy and
a source energy, I remember. Yeah.
Source energy and higher power, and if you want to call it God, if you want to call it Buddha, if you want to call it whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And just using that as whatever kind of energy you put into the world is what you're going to get out of it. So if you're negative Nancy all the time, you're not going to get really great opportunities, and things are going to be a lot harder for you, as opposed to if you are able to be happy, be joyful, and execute every single opportunity that comes along to the best of your ability, then you're more likely to succeed in whatever success is for you specifically, because it's all defined differently between all of us.
Sure.
You'll get there. So I guess the whole premise of the book is she has been just kind of living a mundane life. She lived a lot of her life as just mundane and getting through
one job after another.
Yeah, and making enough money to get by. And
she was like an artist, right?
Yeah, and somehow she was able to pay the bills, and it all kind of worked out. But she was kind of scraping by money wise, and then as far as joy wise, if that's what you want to call it, she wasn't joyful. She wasn't in a job that she absolutely loved. She wasn't doing what she wanted to do. She didn't have the friends around her. And her
purpose wasn't fulfilled.
What was that?
Her purpose wasn't fulfilled. She didn't know what her purpose was.
Exactly. Her and I can definitely relate on that, because I was the type of person that when I got out of high school, the people around me was like, I want to be a nurse. I want to be a baker. They all had this specific career that they wanted to do, and I was the exact opposite. I was like, I'm
gonna try this, I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, as long as I work with a company that I love, that's more important to me than what I'm actually doing within that company. And so she was kind of in the same boat of like, what am I doing with my life? I don't know what's going on.
All she knew is that she wanted to affect somebody's life positively.
Yeah, and that she knew that she was a badass.
Yes.
And she was like, I am awesome. How do I execute this? What do I do to make this a thing?
Yeah.
So the whole book, the whole premise of the book is just little tidbits of just how to approach life. This is really good for, I think, people in their 20s.
Yeah, I would say people who have thought they maybe found the right career monetarily, but aren't being fulfilled emotionally or aren't being fulfilled like your goals wise.
Yeah, and she covers your career, she covers your love life, she covers your friend's life.
Yeah.
She covers the big things that kind of fulfill you as a human, the different scenarios that you could be facing and how to overcome them. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so I want to touch just quickly on the fact that it talks about a spiritual guidance such as God or a source energy. And I would say one of my critiques of this book, when I rated it 5 stars on Goodreads, so I'm a big fan of this book, I feel like some people are so put off by religion that even if you call it by another name, a source energy, they tune out. They stop listening. And I know someone who tuned out at that chapter, and that's like the second chapter of like, make sure you have a source energy that you can talk with. And it makes me sad that they didn't continue the book, because all of a sudden, oh, now we know this girl is religious. Like, no, this girl is not religious. If she is, she sure doesn't make it known. But for me, that source energy isn't, sorry, family, it isn't God, you know? I have multiple beliefs about what my source energy is, and it ranges. Like, it honestly depends on the day. Like, sometimes I look at Pikes Peak and I'm like, that is awesome. Like, Earth in general is like the source energy. It's the fact that all of this is possible. Other days when I'm perhaps more emotional, I think of like my grandma, who I was really close with, and I almost pray to her, you know, like I almost like ask her to make things happen. And so it's not necessarily a God, it's just like someone I care about, or it's the world I'm in. And I guess I just am mad at the book for beginning with that. And maybe she could have rearranged that differently so that people won't be so off put by that. But
yeah, for sure.
But that's my only critique. One of the things I loved about this book is the thoughts thing. Like, man, my whole life, like you battle these negative thoughts all the time. At least
every single day.
I mean, I do. I don't know if it's a woman thing or if it's...
I think it's it's part of the human nature, for sure.
Yeah, it's human nature to doubt yourself, to say that you can't do these things.
Especially when you're seeing in today's society, when we have access to,
oh my gosh,
all of these amazing people's lives, and we're able to see different CEOs and different whoever you look up to. It doesn't
even
really
just
matter.
Your friends list.
Yeah, and you are constantly comparing yourself to others, even on Facebook.
Yep, exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and just looking at other people's lives and saying, "Oh my gosh, I wish."
Look at all these cool things they're doing. They're going to this country and that, and like they love their life and they're having babies, and
it's just part of
you're
human
just comparing
nature
your life and
to doubt yourself and to comparing yourself to others.
So one of the things she says is, you are the only one who thinks these thoughts. You are the only one who controls your thoughts. No one is telling you what to think. No one is telling you that you should think negative thoughts. So why waste the time? Why waste the time to think about how shitty you feel that day, or if you're telling yourself you're ugly, like, why are you telling yourself that? Because you're the only one thinking that. Like, I have never thought about someone, maybe, I don't know, that might be, one of the things she says is to stop saying I never or I always.
Yeah, I have.
So that's funny I keep saying that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think many people would judge someone who's just fucking normal looking and say, oh shit, that girl's ugly. Like, no one, I don't think people do that. Maybe I'm naive, but the point is, you can think your own thoughts. So why make them negative? You should make them positive. Say, I'm beautiful. I can succeed in this life. I am a badass. I'm not going to waste time on these negative thoughts.
Right.
And it's not easy to transition into that. When I was reading this a while ago, I had to like reacquaint myself with the book recently. But when I first read it, I was like, well, yeah, easy for you to say.
Right.
Like, you're judging her, like, easy for you to say. Maybe you are pretty, or maybe you are a badass, but like, I suck. And she mentions that. She's like, it's not an overnight thing. The universe will get in your way. Things will happen that say, don't believe in yourself, don't push yourself, and just stop trying. And it's your choice. It's literally your thinking that says, yeah, I'll stop. You're right. I should stop trying to be a better person. And that's your choice. She's like, if you fucking want to do that, do it. But I suggest you don't.
Right.
I suggest you keep trying and you keep going and just change your thoughts.
Right.
And so that's the one thing I really am working on, honestly, is to change my thoughts into, let's use this podcast, third recording as an example.
Yeah.
Change your thoughts about like, Audrey fucked up.
That's me.
Into like, well, I want to keep doing this and we need to redo it. And it's not our fault this happened. It just fucking happened. You know?
And we could have just been like, well, it is what it is. And then made a big post and say, sorry, we don't have our fourth episode. Or sorry, this isn't going to work out. Sorry, we only have 3 instead of 4
But we
to
decided
launch
that
with.
we believe in this podcast.
Yeah.
And we believe that we could talk about this book again. And,
Right.
And darn it, we have to drink
There's
these
so
beers
much
again.
into that's when you're like, let's just do another one podcast. I was like, okay.